Hello, Mr. Prabhakar. Welcome to the program. I'd like to know, does registration under RERA become a mandatory requirement or is it a voluntary requirement? And secondly, connected to this, is it only for residential projects or does it also cover commercial buildings?
From entering into any agreement or agreement to sell and doing any marketing, selling, advertisement or pre-launch arrangements with the prospective buyers unless the project is registered with RERA. As far as the second part of the question is concerned, both residential as well as commercial projects are required to be registered with RERA.
It will be interesting to know, Mr. Prabhakar, in this area, are any projects exempted from registration?
Yes, there are certain exemptions available from registration. If the project to be developed on a land which doesn't exceed 500 square meters or the number of units which are to be developed doesn't exceed 18 number, no registration under RERA is required. In case of repair or renovation of an existing building or a structure which doesn't involve any marketing, advertisement or new allotment, in that case also no registration under RERA is required.
It will be interesting to know, Mr. Prabhakar, if a developer builds a real estate project in phases, can the builder obtain one registration for all the phases put together?
If a project is developed in phases, each phase will be treated as a separate unit and registration under RERA is required for each of those phases, and all the compliances under RERA are to be done for each of the phases. One registration for all phases put together is not permitted.
Mr. Prabhakar, under RERA, what is the duration of registration? How long is it valid and is it extendable?
RERA doesn't provide for the duration of a project. It is left to the developers. While making an application for registration of the project, apart from all other details, the developer has to provide for the duration within which he wants to complete the project. Once approved, the developer is expected to complete the project within the duration mentioned in the application form. As far as extension of the duration is concerned, in exceptional circumstances, if there is any force majeure reasons, the developer has to make an application and pay the requisite fees, and after considering, the RERA can extend the duration of the project for a period not exceeding 1 year. So the original period and extension period, whatever is given by RERA, the developer is expected to complete the project. If he fails to complete the project, all the panel provision will trigger off.
Can a prospective investor get all the information about a real estate project before finalizing his investment?
Mr. Mathur, this is a very important question from the point of view of the investors. While making an application for approval of the project, the builder has to provide all the information pertaining to the project. Once the project is approved, the builder has to create a web page on the website of the RERA giving the reference of the project number and upload there all the information pertaining to the project. That number of approval is to be advertised in all the advertising material, and through that the prospective investor can access to the details of any project in which he wants to invest and can make a very informed decision.
So this is very important. What is the significance and the importance of carpet area under RERA?
Prior to RERA, one of the biggest problems faced by the investors is that the projects were sold on the basis of super area, super built up area, without any mention about the loading factor. With effect, what used to happen is that if you are booking a flat of say 2000 square feet, ultimately you may end up getting something like 13 to 1400 square feet only. Even that the investor never is to come to know exactly what is the net usable area they are going to get. This has been addressed very well by RERA by the definition of carpet area. As per the definition of the carpet area, it includes only the net usable area which the prospective investor is going to get. It excludes the external walls, shafts, balconies, open verandas, terraces and other common areas. It only includes the internal walls, and more importantly, now all the builders are required to advertise on the basis of only carpet area. If they want, they can mention super area and super built up area, but mentioning the carpet area is a mandatory requirement. As a result of this, the investor will come to know what net usable area they are going to get ultimately, which is very, very important. After all, you live in the four walls of your house, though other common areas also used by you.
So is there any provision in RERA to prevent the diverting of funds from one project to another?
Prior to RERA, diversion of funds used to be one of the biggest menaces, resulting in failure of many of the real estate projects. If you ask me to pick one provision out of RERA which is a game changer, this is the one. As per the provisions of RERA, the builder is required to deposit 70% of the receipts from the allottees in a separate scheduled bank. So each project, the builder has to open a separate bank account with a scheduled bank and keep on depositing 70% of the amount received from the allottees, which should be used only for the purpose of cost of land and construction. And withdrawal from this account is only permitted proportionately on the basis of the costs done by the builder on purchase of land and construction, and it is permitted only on the basis of a certificate given by an architect, an engineer and a chartered accountant. So that is the stringent provisions which have been provided in the RERA. With this, to a great extent, this diversion of funds which used to be done by the builders, that money collected in one project is being diverted to purchase lands or doing something else in other projects, delaying all the projects and ultimately failure of the projects.
Mr. Prabhakar, after registration, can the builder change any plans or specifications, etc. in the project?
Once the sanctions are granted, it is not so easy for the builder to change or alter the plans. As far as the flat is concerned, as far as the specifications are furniture, fixtures, fittings are concerned, it cannot be altered without the written consent of the allottee. As far as the building plans and sanctions for common areas are concerned, they cannot be altered without the written consent from at least 2/3 of the allottees.
The most fascinating water world on earth, the Great Backwaters, Kerala.
Mr. Prabhakar, does the builder have any rights over common areas of the project?
Very important for the investors to know that common areas belong to them and not to the builder. Every allottee has a proportionate right of ownership on the common areas. Though they may not be the exclusive owners of the common areas, they have a proportional right on the common areas, and everything which is built over the common areas is for the usage by the allottees only, and the builder will not have any ownership rights or any other right whatsoever on anything built on common areas. Prior to RERA, we used to see in lot of projects either clubs, gyms or various things are built, and the developer is to run and make money out of that. So investors should know that it is not permissible, and it is the allottees who are the owners of the common area. Once after obtaining the occupation certificate, the builder has to register the common areas either in the name of the association or the appropriate authority. So with that, all his rights over that get passed on to the allottees.
This is important. I'd like to know, can the builder charge a higher rate of interest in the event of an installment payment delay as compared to a situation where the builder has to pay interest in the case of, in the event of a delay of the project?
This was also a very common practice that builder used to charge a very high rate of interest in case of a delay in payment by the investors compared to what they used to pay if there is any delay in completion of the project. RERA has addressed this issue very well by putting in the definition clause itself the interest, wherein it has been provided in the explanation that the interest to be charged by the builder for any delay in making payment by the allottee should be the same as the builder will pay in case of any delay in completion of the project. But as far as the interest is concerned, yes, it is left to the builders, but whatever he charges, he is also supposed to pay the same if there is any delay in completion of the project.
And if the prospective investor have a complaint against the builder, where can he lodge that complaint?
Under the provisions of RERA, a RERA authority has been set up in each state. So the allottee has to file his complaint with the RERA authority under whose jurisdiction the project falls. For example, if the project is in Gurgaon, then the complaint has to be filed with the Haryana RERA. In the same way, if the project is falling under Noida, then the complaint has to be filed with UP RERA.
Does the investor require the help of a lawyer to lodge a complaint against the builder?
No, for lodging a complaint, RERA doesn't provide that the allottee has to engage a lawyer. It's a very simple process of online application which anyone can fill in along with all annexures. If you upload, then complaint gets registered. But having said that, for appearing and arguing the case before the authorities, then subsequently appellate authorities, it is always advisable to engage a professional, either it is a lawyer or a practicing company secretary or other practicing professionals. But it is not a mandatory requirement.
And what kind of penalties can the RERA authority impose on a builder?
As a deterrent, the penal provisions provided in RERA are extremely steep. There are various penalties provided for various offences. Some of the important ones are, for a non-registration, the penalty can be up to 10% of the project cost. For non-complying with the orders of the RERA in respect of registration, there can be an imprisonment of 3 years and penalty up to 10% of the project cost. And for providing any wrong information at the time of applying for registration, the penalty can be up to 5% of the project cost. And for any other provisions other than section 3 and 4, and further penalty up to 5% of the total project cost. And if the builder fails to comply or contravenes the orders of appellate authority, then there can be a punishment up to 10% of the project cost and an imprisonment up to 3 years. So that steep are the penal provisions. If you all put together, it can go as high as 50 to 60% of the estimated project cost. That means if the project cost is about 100 crores, if the builder contravenes all these provisions, the penalties can go as high as 50 crores. So the builders have to now fall in line and be compliant if they want to avoid these steep penalties.
Many times projects don't get completed. Now under RERA, can the authority hand over an incomplete project to its allottees for completion?
Yes, if there is any inordinate delay in completion of the project, and if the RERA authority feels that the promoter is not in a position to complete the project, apart from various other things, the RERA authorities can order handing over of the project to the association of allottees to complete the project, provided the association demonstrates its capability to complete the project. One thing we have to appreciate that it is not so easy to take up the project and complete it. So that is one thing which RERA will always ensure, that the allottees have the capability to complete the project. But yes, if a decision is taken by the RERA authority that the promoter is not going to complete the project and it has to be handed over to an outside agency, the first right of refusal is with the association of allottees.
At the end of the day, I think allottees have to be careful too. Can the builder lodge a complaint against an allottee with the RERA authority?
RERA puts obligations on the allottees also, one of the most important being making the payments of the installments due. Then when the complete project gets completed, get it conveyed in their name, and also making payment of maintenance charges. If the allottee fails in fulfilling any of his obligations, the builder is also open for filing a complaint against the allottees with the RERA authorities. And if any order is given by the RERA authority, if the allottee contravenes that orders, then he can be penalized up to 5% of the cost of the flat. And if he contravenes any of the orders of the appellate authority, then there can be imprisonment up to 1 year and a penalty up to 10% of the cost of the flat. So the allottee should also take care of this. There is a steep penalty as far as, and also imprisonment.
Mr. Prabhakar, what has been the experience in the last 4 years of the existence of this law, RERA? How has it fulfilled the objectives that it was set up for?
As per the provisions of RERA, all the state governments were given 1 year to set up RERA authorities. So effectively, the RERA is there for the last 3 years only. But definitely in these 3 years, RERA has succeeded in bringing a lot of transparency and accountability on the part of the real estate industry. Then it has definitely arrested the diversion of funds, and the most important thing is that it has put in place very effective grievance handling system. Large number of cases, the builders have been penalized by RERA, and lot of cases have gone to appellate authority also, and which has gained the faith of the allottees. But having said that, what has been done is not enough, and a lot of work is required to be done, but I am very sure the RERA authorities will definitely continuously strive to infuse confidence in the real estate industry and come to the rescue of the investors.
Mr. Prabhakar, I want to thank you for the insightful answers that you've given to all our questions. And I'm very sure that all this information will be extremely useful to potential investors into real estate projects in the country. Many thanks, sincerely.
I hope this program will be useful to the investors, and I once again thank you for having me in this program.